Yo, what is up? You are listening to the Seamless Garage podcast, and I'm your host, Stevie G. What's up? So look, on this episode, I'm going to talk about the 10 most common misconceptions or issues that I see in the field with new technicians coming into the field. I had the same issues coming through, and it just burns me up when I see people fail or they get discouraged because they got the wrong mindset coming into the field. So I'm going to address those things. If you're a new technician, check it out. If you know somebody getting into the field, check it out. Or you just might be interested in what's going down. But other than that, I'm going to show you a couple other cool things that happened to me this week. But yeah, stay tuned and let's get it. So basically, let's start out with this. So I got to give a big thanks to my dad because he sent me something that's really cool. I want to show you guys. Pretty freaking epic, isn't it? Like, for real. So if you're listening, it's an awesome sign that my dad made for me with I think it's a CNC router is what he used. It's the logo. It's the Seamless logo, and it's freaking epic. Me describing it's not going to do any good. It's not going to give it any credit. So go and check out the video. This is going to be posted on YouTube. I'm doing videos of the podcast now. So yeah, go check that out on my YouTube. The link will be attached at the bottom. It'll be attached in the description of this podcast. So yeah, that was freaking epic. He sent me a video of it being made, and I was like, I couldn't imagine what it was going to be. I mean, I knew it was going to be a sign, but I didn't realize it was going to be that epic. So yeah, and it also it's got a little saying on the back. It's pretty heartfelt, pretty awesome. I told my dad, I said this is going to be something that I'll probably pass down. Something that, yeah, definitely going to pass it down. It's going to be in the family. And as long as the Seamless, even if the Seamless brand is not still alive because my children don't want to pass it on, that's fine. I'm not pushing that on them. But it's just huge. This is really awesome. So anyway, it says, son, it makes me proud to see the man you've become. You have all of the traits that a father could wish for. Never let that fire in your gut burn out. And yeah, it's just a really personal piece for me. And like I told him, it doesn't matter, like that. It's huge for me. I don't know how to explain it. It's gonna be in the family for a long time. I mean, that's the first big piece. And so the other thing, again, if you're listening, you're not gonna be able to see this, but my brother, him and my mother got together, and they knew that I needed a PC. Because of Seamless, Seamless, if you don't know already, Seamless and Seamless Garage is going to be all content based. I'm not sure that I'm ever going to go out into the consumer base of having customers, I don't know. I do have aspirations for tuning, maybe having a dyno one day and tuning vehicles. Who knows what's down the road? Maybe I decide I do want to build people's performance cars for them. Maybe I decide it's worth it to deal with the pain sometimes that some people aren't happy with what you got going on. But right now it's just going to be content and bringing value for people. If it's not entertainment, it's going to be value like what I'm about to do. What I'm about to tell you about the misconceptions for new technicians. It's going to bring value to somebody. It may not be you, but it may be somebody you know. So anyway, with that being said, they knew I needed a PC, and my brother's been trying to build one for me for a long time. He's been getting the parts together, and he got a hold of my mom, and for a Christmas/birthday gift, because my birthday's actually, when you see this, it'll be Thursday, which will be my birthday on the 20th. They got together, got the rest of, my mom was like, you know what, I'll buy the rest of the parts, and we'll get this thing going. And so my brother came up this last weekend, and he did a video on it. I'll link that down below too. I don't think the video's out yet, but I'll link the YouTube page so you can check that out, the channel. But anyway, so that's what it looks like. It's pretty epic. To describe it, it's what you would think in a custom build, if you've ever seen a custom build with the RGB lighting and everything. It's freaking awesome. So, but performance-wise, it's great. I mean, obviously, my brother knows what he's doing. That's what he does for a living, is puts computers together, and he's training to be IT. So just all of that stuff that, I honestly don't know a whole lot about. But I will say that it translates translates well into building vehicles. I can see where it can get addicting, just like building a vehicle, just like building a race car, or just a show car, because it's so modular. And there's so many options out there on the market. You can put it together however you want. And with my brother, no pun intended, but it went seamlessly. He knows what he's doing, and we kept making a joke throughout, the build. It was seamless. We were gonna make it seamless, and it is. I mean, it's epic. I love it, and yeah, I can't thank my mom and my brother enough for that. I mean, that's huge. It means a lot to me. Yeah. Already it's took me to a new level. I'm doing videos now. I've already made some memes. I don't know if you've seen the one that I put my head on. I couldn't do that on my phone or something. Maybe I could, but this was a whole lot easier using paint and stuff. So, and yeah, by the way, if you know anything about editing and content editing, I haven't purchased a software yet for it. So if you have any intel on that, or know of a good one, or one that you use that you like, please hit me up and DM me, message me, whatever, and let me know what you're using, because I would really like to know what everybody else is using out there, because I don't want to waste my money on something that's inferior. So anyway, yeah, thanks Dad for the sign, thanks Mom and my brother for this PC, because like I said, it was great bonding with my brother. We haven't spent that much time together like that in a long time, and we used to be really close. So it's good to get back to that, and it was good to chat with him and see him. So yeah, the build helped that. So yeah, expect a whole lot more content now. 'Cause my mind's blown. I'm coming up with new content all the time. I just got to get it created and get it put together. So this is all new to me. Putting myself out there on a platform is all new to me. If you don't know me from before, I wasn't on social media much. So, but anyway, thanks to all of them. And then yeah, so I wanted to bring up something real quick. It's a little bit of personal development. So if you don't like it, it's cool. You can skip past it. But I've been talking about judging yourself, and I learned this from a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk, or Gary V. He's better known as Gary V. And if you don't know who he is, you should go check him out. And that's all you gotta do is type in Gary and then VEE. He's what helped me explode on the content, give me all the ideas. Anyway, the one thing that unlocked me was the judgment of others. I didn't realize that I was walking around worried about what I would dress and everything else, worried about what other people thought about me. And that was a lot of the reason I was living my life, was about other people. As soon as I realized to not be judged by other people, not worry about that, I felt 100% better. And obviously it's something that just doesn't go away, and it's not 100% gone, but it's better, and I can recognize it, and when I see it, I push it away from me. And that all comes from inside self-esteem, obviously, and judging yourself. And that's really what I wanted to talk about, was judging yourself. It's easy to, when you don't do something you said you were going to do, or you expected to do something and you didn't get it done, to judge yourself, or you made a bad decision, a bad judgment call, so you judge yourself, and you dwell on that instead of moving past it, moving forward. And so my life has gotten better, my happiness has grown, because I'm not judging people when they make mistakes, because I'm not judging myself. So there's no judgment at all, which is awesome. I love that. There's no pressure, and I love to be able to tell people that, hey, there's no pressure. You made a mistake, whatever. There's no pressure. That way you can get more done. Because I feel like when you're really pressured, you start to do things you wouldn't normally do as a human being, and being yourself, that uniqueness about yourself. So yeah, just try your hardest. As soon as you recognize it, try to get rid of it, because as soon as you stop judging yourself, you stop judging others actually, and then your life gets a whole lot better. When there's no judgment, it's free range. You can do whatever you want. And I think one thing that people worry about is the judgment of their parents. A lot of people are living their lives for their parents, and it scares them to go out and do what they want because they're afraid of what their parents are going to think. So that can be a jail for you, and that's not cool. You need to step out of that boundary and go after what you want, because at the end of the day, your parents don't know what you want. Yes, they want the best for you, but they want the best in their eyes. They don't know what you want. And quite frankly, there's people in their 50s, 60s, and even older that still don't have it figured out. So, just take advice with a grain of salt and go out there and figure out yourself. You're talking to your parents and stuff. You're talking to people who came from a different era. We're in a content era now. They didn't have that back then, so they don't understand. And a lot of them think that social media and stuff like that is bad, and they just don't understand that that's the name of the game, and that's how you get yourself out there right now. There's so much opportunity. That's how you're listening to me or seeing me right now, is from the internet and social media. Without that, it wouldn't be possible. I'd have to pay millions of dollars to get on TV in front of you, or to get in the news, or get on the radio back then. So I'm very grateful for all of this. So that's just that little tidbit I wanted to tell you. Focus on not judging yourself and don't dwell on things so much, and you'll be able to make decisions easier, and you'll be able to get progress and be happy. And happiness is the goal. That's the goal. So anyway, on to the big topic. Like I said, it's going to be 10 common misconceptions or issues that I've got wrote down here on my computer because I was going to forget. But it was really easy to type up because they just popped in my head because I see them every day. Alright, so number 1, and they're not in a order of rank, it's just 1 through 10. Number 1, entitlement and earn your keep. And I put on there a little asterisk for lube rack. And what I'm saying is, when you come out of tech school, or even if you don't come out of tech school, but you're like, I want to aspire to be a technician. I'm not saying you have to go to tech school. I'm not. I did, and it accelerated me. It may take you longer to do it without tech school, but I do believe you can do it. If you put in the work, I promise you, if you study, you can do it. It just accelerated me. That's all it was. UTI accelerated me sooner and at a faster rate than it would if you start out bare bones. And you've got to remember, I turned richer since I was 5. So, if you haven't, it's okay. You need to know that it doesn't matter if there's somebody younger in the field that knows more than you. You can't let that. It's your life. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say, is the lube rack guys and just other guys I talk to, they feel like they should be a technician right now. And I've seen so many leave shops because they're in the lube rack and they're not getting looked at or not getting moved up. Well, you have to realize that you've got to wait for a spot to open. And secondly, even if it's not a spot, you're going to be under another technician. So maybe they can't afford that right now. Well, maybe it's the winter months. And not only that, if you're in the lube rack and they move you up straight up to technician, and you don't even have any tech school, and it's your first job, you're not going to do well. You're not going to survive. I'm just being honest with you. You're not going to survive, and that's not what you want. You want to learn. Like, don't rush the process. You're young. I don't care how old you are. You're young. So don't rush the process. The next thing I want to bring up, the second thing, is start building your tool set before you become a tech. And what I mean by that is I am specifically talking to lube rack guys, or guys going through the field, or guys and gals. I'm sorry. I'm just so used to seeing guys in the shop. Guys and gals. Anybody that's trying to be a technician. If you're in tech school, or you're already in the field as like a lube rack or even a porter or whatever, but you aspire to be a technician, start buying tools now. You may not know what you want, but buy the basics that you know you're going to use. If you're already looking to get in this field, you already have an idea of what you need. Start doing that before you become a tech or before you even inquire to be a helper. It would be nice if you had your own tools as a helper, because let me tell you, borrowing tools from a technician that you're learning from sucks, because I know from experience, because I've had 5 or 6 helpers, and you're never going to put that tool back like I want it, and you might lose my tool, and so always I'm kind of weird about it because you're touching my tools. So it's always good. They're going to let you borrow their tools because you're helping them make money, but at the end of the day, they're still not going to like it. Trust me, I didn't like it, and I was making more money with helpers. So that's what I'm saying, is build your tool set. Like I said, a lot of people complain. They're like, oh, I can't buy tools, or I can't afford them until I become a tech. You do not want that. Yet again, another misconception. You do not want that. You want them to make you a tech, and then you not have the tools, so you can't make any money, and then you're borrowing tools from everybody. What if nobody lets you borrow a tool? You're stuck like Chuck, brother. So don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Build that toolbox. This goes right along with it. Number 3. This goes right along with it, and this is important before you get those tools. This is very important. You have to have something to put them in, a toolbox. Don't buy the biggest name brand toolbox you can find. This is talking to the guys who do have money, that are trying to get in the field. Maybe it's their second career, or maybe they just have money and they're getting into the field, or maybe the family's got money. Don't go out and buy that big name brand toolbox. I've seen it more than not, and even the ones that I've given advice, they don't listen. They'll go out and buy that Madco, Snap-on, or Mac toolbox. Don't get got by a salesman, because that's what tool guys, a lot of tool guys are. Not all of them, I can't say that. I got a lot of tool guy friends that aren't that way, but there's a lot of tool guys out there that are salesmen, and you can't blame them, because that's their job. They make the most money off of toolboxes, if I'm not mistaken. It's like buying a car almost. And toolboxes are expensive if you haven't looked into them recently. You're looking at 2, 3, 4, 5 grand and on up. For entry level, you're looking at around 2 to 3 grand. Same toolbox you can get, and you can cringe if you want. Other technicians cringe. U.S. General from Harbor Freight, Husky, Craftsman, you name it. And let me tell you, my toolbox is a Craftsman, and yes, I'm a Master Tech. I'm a Nissan Master Tech with ASCs, and I have a Craftsman toolbox as my main box. And I've had it for 8 years now, and still rolls around just fine. Drawers still work just great, and like I said, I don't have a single negative thing to say about it. I don't. It just holds your tools. Let me just tell you that. It just holds your tools. So what I'm going to say, tools are better than the box. Tools are more important than the box. Get you a decent box, okay? It's cool. You can swag out. They got different colors now. You know what I'm saying? The roll-arounds too. What I would suggest, start out with a roll-around toolbox with the flip-up lid, 5 drawers, with a little area you can put your cans and stuff in the bottom, with a flip-out table and all that. You can get one of those at Harbor Freight for $200, and you can get it in any color you can think of: white, red, green, black, blue, all the above, for $200. And that same toolbox is going to cost you, like I said, $1,200 to $1,500 to $2 grand on the tool truck. So that grand to $1,500 that you saved, you can put in tools. Imagine how many tools you can get with $1,500. For real, you can fill that toolbox up. Now, when it comes to tools on that, this is just a little tangent off of that. This isn't part of the misconceptions, but just a little tangent off that to give you some more advice. When you do get those tools, now, you do want to go name brand with certain things, like your wrenches, your impacts, and things like that you're going to use on the daily. And like wrenches and sockets and stuff are precision, and I will tell you that they're better quality with name brand. And also you're getting that lifetime warranty. So do invest in that. The cheaper tools you can get at Harbor Freight and stuff, you get them like if you're not going to use them very much, and it's just something that you use every now and then on a car here and there, sure, or something that's going to wear out anyway, no big deal. But your precision tools, and what I mean by that is, anything that's like for sockets that go on a fastener, or your ratchets and stuff, go ahead and invest in those name brand tools. I'm just saying the boxes are way overpriced and not worth it at this point. The performance or quality gap is so small in comparison to the cheap ones and the expensive ones, in my opinion, that it's not worth it. You know, people are standing in those Snap-on toolbox drawers. Who the hell is going to put that many tools, that consistency of tools in a fucking drawer? I mean, I'm just being honest. It's stupid to me. The fourth thing, get your ASE certs as soon as possible. Hell, you can even get them before you become a tech if you do the research. I know plenty of people who have passed and gotten Master Tech ASEs that I wouldn't let anywhere near my car. So that's how easy the tests are, in my opinion. I'm not saying that you can just I'm not saying that my wife should go up there and take them right now, because she definitely wouldn't pass. But I'm saying if you do the research and you study and do a few practice tests, sorry, I can't speak today. If you do a few practice tests, you won't have that problem, and you can pass just fine. Even a few of them will get you in the door. I'll tell you right now, I've got several friends that haven't went to tech school that have ASEs, and they got in the door easier than I did. And I didn't have ASEs, but I had 6 Nissan certs, and I came from UTI, and they got in the door easier than I did. So that should tell you something about ASEs. I do think ASEs are kind of overrated, but if you want to leverage yourself to get in the door as soon as possible and become a helper or become a tech, that's the best way to do it. Come in there hot and ready with those ASEs. Service managers love seeing that. The fifth thing, take all of the training classes and videos offered by the dealer. If you're in an independent shop, I'm sorry, you're not going to have that, but you can do extracurricular classes. They offer them all the time in your local area. And a lot of them are free. Some of them you got to pay, I don't know, 20, 30 bucks to get in. Sometimes Snap-on people will put them on, or O'Reilly's, or things like that will put on classes and courses for techs to learn about various things, and it can give you a leg up. But if you're in a dealership and you're in a certain class where you're a technician, or maybe even lube tech, every dealer and manufacturer has a training course and a training program that you can go to on the computer, and it's what helps you move up the tiers from a specialist to a senior specialist, master technician, all that. All those classes are required. So if you got free time at the house, get to learning them and taking them, and then start spitting that knowledge at work, and they're going to realize that you know what you're talking about. So take advantage of that and get those done, because it gives you a leg up as well. They're going to think you're a go-getter, and you at this point, especially if you're a lube tech, or even if you're somewhere else in the dealership, but you're trying to get in there and you've got that bug in the service manager's ear, you're going to be competing with several people, because most people who are in the lube rack are trying to do the same thing you're doing. They're trying to move up. So you need to separate yourself from them and prove that you are better than them. Not better than them, I'm sorry, not like that, but that you are a better candidate to get started, and that you are driving and aspiring to be a technician, and that you're putting in the work, because that shows that you're going to put in the work, and you're going to continue your learning and your knowledge throughout your career. So yeah, get your ASEs. Number 6. Oh yeah, that wasn't ASE, sorry, that was training classes. I got lost there. Number 6. Put in your own time for further research of your craft. Use the service manual. So, yeah, put in your own time for research. I don't do it as much now as I should, but I still do it. When you're in this field, you need to be fascinated. You need to be on fire. If you don't love it, then it may not be the right field for you anyway. Because in my opinion, you should be chasing what you love. That's where happiness is going to be, is where something you enjoy doing every day. But that passion is going to drive you to study your craft, even outside of those classes that I was telling you about that the dealership offers, and outside of those classes that they offer in your region to learn for technicians. Do some research online, like learn common problems, and if you're in a dealer, learn common problems on those makes and models. You can search them up. They're online all over the place. So you just need to further your research. I was studying like crazy, especially when I was at UTI. I was a man on fire. That's why I came out of there with a 4.0, because at home I was just scrolling. I was learning as much as I could. I was fascinated with, and I still am fascinated with how vehicles work, and that's why I'm taking it one step further with seamless, and I'm going deeper in the fact that I'm going to improve the performance of vehicles, if that makes sense. I'm going to make them better in my eyes and in my opinion, make them perform better. So that's how fascinated I am with it. But anyway, do further research and try to figure out what things that work. And if there's something that you hear that you don't know what it is, or something that you want to learn that you're like, what is that? Go research it, write it down, remember it, and go research that. Go ask other technicians that. That's the thing is, don't go bug technicians while they're working, but if they got free time, say, hey man, can I go lunch with you? I'd like to run something by you. Stuff like that. Like, learn, man. Show your interest. So the next one is going to be, I'll put on there huge because it's very important. This was a big breakthrough for me as a technician. Get over the fear, what I call the fear, and learn to figure things out. So here's the fear thing, and this is, I didn't realize it till later, that this is what unlocked me as a technician to improve my hours and efficiency. Okay, I already had the knowledge, like I need to explain that I was really ahead coming into the dealership because of as much studying as I did and working on cars, as a kid my whole life pretty much. I understood how everything worked. So I was really ahead. However, in a technician aspect, I was still learning the game, as far as managing your tickets and all of that. And obviously I was still learning the brand. I was still learning Nissan. I was still learning the brand. So a lot of times I would jump to the service manual and back, and jump to the service manual and back, jump to the service manual, back to the car. And one day, a really good friend of mine, I call him my mentor because he taught me a lot of what I know as far as the technician and the dealership world goes. And he came over there and he's like, hey man, he was like, look man, you need to learn to figure things out on your own. He's like, you need to quit going to the service manual every damn time you need to figure something out. Yes, the service manual is great and you need to learn how to use it. He said, but some of that stuff you're asking about or you're looking up is easy. Just look at the damn component. And I took it in my head because, it means a lot to me what he says. And so I took it and I was like, you know what, that's right. And it flipped for me like that. It was like, you know what, I'm going to start looking at stuff first before I just go. It was bad. I would go to the service manual when I knew it. Let's say I needed to replace an alternator. I would go to the service manual before I even pulled the vehicle in and study about how to, step by step, how to take that alternator out. Later on down the road, I realized that there was easier ways to do it than the service manual tells you. And there's just ways to speed up the process and get the car repaired faster. And that you do not follow the process in the service manual sometimes at all. And that comes with looking at it yourself, because he knew that I had the common sense and the knowledge to look at something and take it apart. And once I did that and I started looking at things first, it all came together to me. Now that may be a novel idea for some people. Maybe that's the first thing that comes to their mind, is try to figure it out on their own. But for me, I was worried about breaking things and worried about taking apart the wrong thing, if that made sense. Really, I was focused on not trying to be a dumbass. Again, the judgment factor. Maybe it paid off for that, but I was worried about what other people thought about me because I had a chip on my shoulder. I was trying to prove a point. So yeah, get over that fear. The fear, what I mean by fear is the fear of taking something apart and it falling apart, or it doing something that you're not expecting. One example I can say is people are afraid to take off lower control arms and stuff on suspension, especially in the rear, because they're afraid that the spring is going to fly out or something, and that's just not the case. They just don't understand how it works. So that, that's key. Just get rid of that fear of breaking things and just push forward and get that confidence. That's what I was going to say. The confidence. That's what you need. Confidence. Be confident what you're doing, and it'll help you. Don't be overly confident, but you know what I mean. Just be confident what you're doing. Be like, hey, I can do this. Let me figure this out, and then work in a smart manner. That's all I gotta say. So the next thing, number 8, be a sponge and take in information, and don't get an ego. So what I mean by that is, I'm guilty of this. When I first started out, I didn't want to hear what anybody said, even the mentor that I mentioned. I didn't want to hear what he had to say. I thought I knew it all. Coming out of UTI, I thought I knew it all, and I thought I was better than everybody in the shop. And that was stupid of me, very, very naive and immature to think that, but that's what I thought at first. And so I had an ego, and the ego got in the way of me being able to take in information. So there for a while I was kind of stagnant and only learning off of my own self, which is okay, but it's good to have other people give you information because they've been there, done that, and have the experience. But what I want to say with that, is you're going to have somewhat of an ego because you don't necessarily know what other people know. So you think that you may know better just because of something they've said. But anyway, the gist of it is be open to listening to other technicians. It's not going to hurt you to listen. Even if they're wrong, just listen to them and don't use the information, but especially if you've already tried that. But be willing to listen and see if they got something good to offer you. The next thing, this just adds on to the previous one. Take all information with a grain of salt and then use your better judgment. So kind of what I said there, but take it with a grain of salt, even if it's great information you've never heard before about how to do something. Try it, but keep in mind, use your better judgment. If it doesn't work out okay, try your way though. Like I've always told people, listen to other people and try their way, but think about it for yourself for a minute. Even if it slows you down one time, think about that job or that particular process your way one time and see how it goes. You may be great at figuring things out. I feel like I usually figure out the better way to do something myself, but that's probably the way a lot of people think, you know what I mean? And that may not necessarily be the best way, but in my opinion, it's the best way. So just use your judgment and take what people say with a grain of salt. And so then the last thing, number 10, be ready to make, and this one's huge. This one's huge. You need to realize this before you decide to enter the tech world, and even if you have, you need to seriously consider this. And some people are going to disagree with me, and you're going to talk to people who are going to disagree with me. But this has been my experience, and a lot of people that I've talked to's experience, and we've lost a lot of helpers that became techs because of this. And I don't want that to be you. I want you to have an understanding and get your pocketbook and your bank account ready for this. Be ready to make less than 40 hours for your first year as a tech. And what I mean by that is less than 40 hours a week. Because if you're coming from anything else that's not commission based, you're looking at 40 hours a week, guaranteed, unless you miss a day or something. And then sometimes overtime, right? That doesn't happen in the flag world. And if you're a new technician, you're still learning the ropes. They're not going to pay you to learn. So you're going to be slower than the rest of the techs if you're a new tech in that shop. You're going to be slower than the rest of them. You're still going to be learning the service manual. You're still going to be doing, if you're doing it right, you're going to be doing everything that I just mentioned. So you're taking your time. You're learning the process. You're learning the vehicles. You're learning the service manual. You're learning the manufacturer. You're learning the people. You're learning the process of the shop, about how to manage your tickets, about priority, about discussions with service writers and communication between them and your customers. You're going to get comebacks. You're going to have to fix those. It's going to slow you down because you're not going to fix it right the first time every time. So you're gonna flag less than 40 hours, and I'm gonna say that's for the majority of people. Maybe there's some crazy people out there. I've actually got a few friends that will probably disagree with you or disagree with me. But for the majority of you, if you're doing it right and you're doing what I said in this, you're flagging less than 40, and that's okay because guess what? In the next year after that, you're going to be ahead of those people that are saying that they flagged 40 or 50 their first year. Yeah, you're going to have a couple good weeks, but it's not going to be consistent. You're not going to consistently be flagging 40 or more in your first year as a tech if you're doing these things that I told you. But like I said, you're going to be ahead of everybody else in the next year because you're going to have to put in your research and you're going to be on top of your game. And it's going to blow up. Once you get that confidence and get rid of that fear that I told you about, you're going to be unstoppable. So that is very important. So yeah, just get ready for that. Don't go in there expecting to make a whole lot of money just because your flag hour rate is higher than what your previous hourly job was, because it's probably not going to pan out. It's probably going to be like that. And your slow weeks are going to be even worse, but you just need to save up and be ready for that first year. It's very important. People need to do this. If you don't, you could fail. You really could. Either that or you're going to start cutting corners to make money, and it's not going to end well because you're not doing it right. There's no longevity. There's no long tail in it. You're just thinking short game, and later on down the road, you're going to be at a disadvantage. So those are the top 10 things that I have to say to new technicians if you're a new technician. And like I said, if you know somebody who is starting in the field, please share this with them because they need to know. Yeah, so one little add-on bonus that goes along with the toolbox stuff and the tools is that, get ready when you become a tech, get ready to spend at least $5,000 a year in tools. People don't tell you that, but you're going to spend that in tools, especially starting out. You're going to spend it, but I spend that, let's see, I spend probably around $5,000, yeah, somewhere along there. You're going to spend, technicians spend around $5,000 or so in tools a year, just because you're still building, and then there's new stuff that comes out that's better, that makes your life easier. At first, you're going to be buying the necessities, and the stuff that you need, and the stuff that you keep borrowing from people. But then after all of that's taken care of and you've replaced the things that you keep breaking, you're going to find that you are going to get into the realm and the section of tools that are convenience. You're going to get tired of using that, that hand ratchet, and you're going to end up getting an electric ratchet or an air ratchet if that's the thing. But I like electric ratchets, so I just like electric everything. But air does have more power. So yeah, you're gonna like the convenience, and you're gonna be able to afford it. Then that $5,000 you're gonna have is gonna be for convenience because you've got everything you need. You've got all your master kits, and that's the other thing I want to say is get master kits. Don't just buy the sockets you need. Buy the master kit because you're gonna use it eventually. I swear you will. I started out doing that at first to try to be cheap, buy the sockets, just the sockets that I needed, and I ended up spending more because I needed to get the kit anyway. So just get the master kit. But yeah, I hope you like this. This was, the 10 common misconceptions or issues that I see new technicians entering the field having. And I see it every day, and a lot of them are my friends that end up quitting out of the field, and I hate to see that, but you got to come into this field knowing what's going on and the expectations. So you're getting the information from someone who has started from square one, ground level, and has made it all the way up to master tech in both ASC and Nissan. So that's got to say something. So I just want to give this information to somebody who's following my footsteps, because I do feel like this field is dying. I really do feel like this field is dying, and hopefully that's not the case. But it seems like less and less people are interested in doing this kind of work, and maybe it's because they don't know about it, or maybe it's because they've heard about the way the pay and scale is arranged versus the workload, and that's something that needs to be addressed, and we'll probably talk about that in another podcast. But there are some things that need to change in the field, because after all, the field has changed since the 50s and before. The service field has changed, and so I think the pay scale should change as well, or the way the pay is structured should change. So yeah, that's what I gotta say about that without getting myself in trouble. So the last thing, always gotta do it. Question of the day: do you think electric cars are a fad, or do you think they're here to stay? Let me know. Send me a comment. Send me a comment on Facebook or Instagram, because I'm gonna post about that here in just a minute. And let's start a discussion and see what everybody thinks. Are electric cars here to stay, or are they gonna phase out like hybrids did? So yeah, thanks for listening in. And like I said, share this to somebody who's becoming a tech or is a tech already. It could still help them. Or if you're a tech yourself, hopefully you got value out of this. And yeah, this has been great. So we'll see you on the next podcast. And